lost on an F1 game on PS4 if it wasn't for some sort of problem. So we're back on it, unfortunately. But what can you do? Lucky for us, we're gonna be able to see the race start, so that's good already. We're in the formation lap already here, and let's see, we only have one guy on the soft tires now. That's only mellow space, and CW joined in as well. A bit late here, he went on the last starting position, chose the medium tires. He was a bit late to the party, but he wasn't interrupting or anything, so I guess that's okay. And there we have it. Everybody trying to get some temperature in their tires. Gotta make sure the field does not split up too much as... Oh, Speed Alcoholic with the lockup there. That's not what you want to do on the formation lap. I mean, you're gonna get some temperature in, but you're gonna spend the tire life in your formation lap. That's no good. And there we have a good shot to see the banked corner. There's a slight angle on it, which makes it possible to accelerate quite rapidly out of that corner onto the main overtaking opportunity into the hairpin. That's the spot we're gonna be looking at. Also, if you get a good run off the last corner, there is a chance you can overtake there as well. As we have a Callum Williams go on Blue Sonic. Yeah, good luck to Blue Sonic. Let's see if he can repeat his points finish from Brazil. Last time around wasn't looking too good for him, but who knows? This track, there could be safety cars anytime. We do seem to have a dry race here, so it's all looking to be set up right now. The last cars are approaching, and I think everybody is on his starting position. It's 4 lights, 5 lights, and away we go. Who gets the best start here? Speed Alcoholic, not with the very best start, but he can keep holding on. Connor on the inside is not as quick, but maybe he can sneak in on the inside. It's looking very good for Connor. Now he's getting the outside. He's still behind, and Speed Alcoholic stays in front, but now Connor gets such a good exit onto the hairpin, and maybe he can get a switchback on Speed Alcoholic. Getting very good traction off there, but not close enough this time around. And behind them we have the 2 Ferraris of All Albion and Pietro already lurking behind them. Sean Kino made up 5 positions on the start. What a ridiculous start from him, as we have the first guy out of the session. It's CW. He joined late, but he is the first to the party when it comes to DNFing this time around. I don't know what happened there. Looks like he spun out, maybe with interference with other cars. We cannot say for sure. We did not see anything of that. And here they go, very wide from Sean Kino. That's probably an invalidation there. Trying to get the maximum run here onto Pietro. Pietro, avoiding the slipstream, is gonna hold on to P4 for now. As we see the tire strategy, the first one, I'm digging that. Oh, and Blunt Rules has a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I don't know what he did there, but that's quite a big one. And Pilos. Pilos is in 17th. What happened there? He must have gotten the worst start ever. And Pilos... Oh, and Jacobs is pitting. Again, what is going on here, Jacobs? He destroyed his car in Q2. He gets damage on the first lap here again. It's... Oh... It's same procedure as last week. But in front we have we have the guys settling in on the pace. Pietro is already outside of the DRS of all Albion. And it's very important to hold on to the DRS if you want to stick to the front group here. Sean Kino is already trying to have a look here. He is on the inside, and Pietro with a big mess up. Oh, and Pietro with the contact there, spinning out, and Pietro's race is just gone to shit. And Sean Kino, destroying his car possibly. What is going on here? He lost all his wing there, 100%. And his race is down the drain as well. And out of nowhere, JJ is now in P4, behind him VP. Impossible to stay with the action, but that's, in my opinion, that's a pure driver's mistake here from Pietro, and after that from Sean Kino as well. If I've seen that properly, I would say so, at least from what I've seen, but we're gonna have to see the POV from the drivers here to make any further statements. Connor is now closing in, but let's have a look at the other spots. We got Malgery Pippo now profiting massively, as well as David Boyer. They are both in front of Pietro now. Does Pietro have a damaged front wing here? Would be very interesting to know. For now it looks okay, so maybe the car just spun and he's alright, so his race is not entirely over here. Maybe he can salvage something. Also, we have to mention not only Malgery Pippo but also Gordy. 5 places up already. Gordy into the points paying positions straight away. Bimmer guy behind him, who I believe got P10 in Vietnam after everything was finished with the reports and stuff. So maybe he can show some proper pace this time around again and go for some more points. He's always about where he has to be to get into the points, so let's wish him good luck on that. He is outside of the DRS though from Gordy, and it's really important to stay within the DRS. As mentioned before, Malgery Pippo is right on the rear of Pietro now. Pietro trying to catch back up to David. Pietro seems to have more pace than David Boyer and is already looking to be back in the DRS for the next time around, but the exit not as swiftly as David's exit here, and Malgery Pippo is trying to see if there's a chance. If Pietro does not get DRS on David, the back straight will be very dangerous for Pietro to lose this position to Malgery Pippo. And in front of that, VP is already outside of the DRS of JJ. JJ is 2 seconds almost ahead of VP. JJ closing in on all Albion as well. The title fight is on. The two biggest contenders seem to be right at it once again. After everything unfolds, these guys, they always manage to stay out of trouble, and somehow they did it again. Having a massive start here is JJ, who did not get the best qualifying result with P6, but he's already looking at a podium here if he can manage to find some proper pace. Malgery Pippo going very wide here, and that's gonna bring Gordy on to his back. Malgery Pippo not gonna have any DRS here. Can Gordy used the slipstream. He's trying to go on the inside. Very difficult to overtake on the inside here. If you can, you want to have the outside, but Mallory Pippo is conceding the position. It seems like he was not confident enough to go on the outside here, and Gordy takes P8. Very nicely done. Behind that, let's see, Pilos, we remember he was pitting. Sean Keno is also back in it now after pitting. He completely lost control of the car on the exit of the banked right-hander. And behind that, Crazy Shadow and Blue Sonic making up a lot of places already. Jacobs, he is in no man's land. And what happened to Mellow Space? We didn't even catch that. Oh, he already pitted, going on the hard tires. Let's see what he can do. He must have pitted right on the last lap. Let's have a quick look here. And oh, he pitted one lap before that even. So very interesting to see him going on the hards. I think that's probably a good call, because there's a chance for a safety car at any moment here, and if the safety car is at the halfway mark or later, Mellow Space can just go for the mediums and get a big advantage out of that. And the last man standing here also went on the hards. That is blunt rules, not the kind of start he wanted. He was looking so good on the pace and the quali, but then it all goes down the drain so quickly once you get into contact. Maybe he had some contact with J-Corps, who had to pit for I suppose a damaged front wing. But let's check out what we have at the front corner. Seems to be struggling on the pace. Speed Alcoholic is 2.5 seconds away. Connor was very consistent in the Tier 2 race, but didn't have the best pace I've seen him this season, so maybe he's struggling a bit again. All Albion is gonna have a good run here on the back straight. I think Connor is using a lot of ERS here, and Crazy Shadow gets a first penalty for track limits. Not gonna be close enough this time, All Albion, but can he do it onto the main straight? There's the next chance for an overtake, but it looks like Connor got the better exit. And yeah, I don't see anything happening this time around. JJ is struggling to catch these guys, but maybe good for him. All Albion is fighting with Connor here for P2, and I think JJ as well as Speed Alcoholic could be profiting massively from that constellation. Connor is not really in the title fight, but obviously to get back into it, he wants to hold on to P2 against All Albion, get as many points as he can, and you can see already JJ is within 2 seconds now. 1.8, he's gaining massively here, and Connor is struggling in Sector 2, and I've got a feeling Connor has a very low downforce setup. He was very quick in the straight line. You could see All Albion was struggling to close in on him, even though he had DRS. But he seems to be struggling in Sector 2, so I think that's an indication of his setup here. And you can see All Albion is not even really gaining any time, and that's gonna hurt his race. It looks to me as if All Albion has the better pace, but the question is also, can he get out of the DRS if he manages to overtake Connor? And JJ is getting closer and closer. He's already 1.4 seconds away. That is very, very close. All Albion not gonna be close enough this time again. And you can see the biggest difference here to David Boyer. He is 4.3 seconds away already, and VP, who was looking quite promising at first in the quali, does not seem to have the best pace this time around. He's in P6, struggling to keep up with David Boyer here, and Pietro, who was looking so good in the quali again, with that little spin against Sean Kino. That's obviously very disturbing for his race, but can he salvage some points? He is in P7. I think he's gonna have enough pace. The big problem for him is these two guys in front. He is the last car in the DRS train, and if there's 3 cars and you're the last of them, you have no chance to overtake in the DRS train, because maybe the second car can get an overtake, but you're just gonna be at maximum as fast as the second car in the train. So there should not be any chance, except VP has no ERS left, and look at what Pietro can do here, managing to save a bit more ERS, goes on the inside, he goes very wide, missing the corner completely, and VP is back at it. And that's gonna help David Boyer get out of the DRS. No one is gonna have DRS on the guy. And and Jacobs left the session. I can't keep up with this again. But yeah, a snap of oversteer here for Pietro, as I believe is that raindrops. Look at the clouds. The clouds are closing in. This could be quite something. I think it's starting to rain here. I'm gonna change this race entirely. There's gonna be a drastic change of what's going to happen, and seeing that now, you have to question why did Mellow Space go for the soft tire after all? That was not the call. If it's raining so close to the start and you have to do an extra pit stop, that's not optimal. And we've had rain in the tier 2 race in quali only, but a lot of guys were spinning out, so I'm expecting a lot of carnage when this track is getting wet. And you can see already it's the grip is rapidly going down. Pietro is already struggling here. Not even in the DRS of VP anymore, who has closed back in onto David Boyer, and he seems to be the quickest out of those 3. Meanwhile, JJ, he has been sneaking up on the guys fighting in front of him. Connor and All Albion fighting all the way. Connor keeps holding on to P2, and JJ, profiting here now, is already inside of the DRS, and Speed Alcoholic, his adventure at the front, he seems to be struggling now. Only 2.3 seconds even with the fighting from Connor and All Albion. He's not gaining ground anymore. Connor seems to be very adept to the changing track conditions here. But let's see what happens here. Obviously I'm sure there's gonna be pit stops for the changing weather, so we're gonna have to wait and see how those go. But usually somebody's gonna get held, somebody's gonna lose time, somebody's gonna gain time there. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. And VP is already on the intermediates. I think that might just be too early. The track is not looking wet at all. I know it's gonna be less grippy, and a crazy shadow goes for the wet tires. What is that call? Mate, that is quite adventurous. I'm 100% sure that's not the right call for now. He's gonna be so slow. Even if the track is wet already, it's nowhere near to the rain necessary for wet tires. But obviously that could change within no time. We're gonna have to wait and see. But Blunt Rules now pitting as well onto the intermediates, and it seems to be time to pit. The track evolving rapidly here. Sometimes you can go 3-4 laps with light rain, but it seems to be quite a bit more this time around. Oh, and the guys in front have pitted as well. They all went to the intermediates. Is anyone gonna get held here? It looks like, oh, JJ was held here big time. He lost out so much time on the guys in front. And now Mallory Pippo is the last car in front to not have pitted. I think he's the only car to not pit here. What about Mellow Spaced and Blue Sonic? They are... Mellow Space goes for another lap. Oh no, oh, and DRS is disabled. That means it's 100% time for the intermediates. And oh, what a mess up here for Mellow Space. The strategy is completely off here. I hope he didn't listen to the stream. I did not know which kind of weather we have to expect. Obviously, that's no good anymore. Blue Sonic will make the transition here. And oh, Mallory Pippo is still on the medium, so he's gonna massively impact how this group is gonna get through here. We have Speed Alcoholic already through. He is 2 seconds away. Connor has no chance to overtake right now. Where's All Albion? He's quite a way behind. He has to pass Mallory Pippo right away, but he's going so far on the inside, forcing All Albion out here. And oh, that is quite risky. JJ, he is... Look at him, he's so far behind. He lost so much time on that pit stop. My god, he must have been held for ages. And it's disaster. He was doing such a good job at getting back at them, but now he's... Oh no, he's all the way back, and the last guy to pit will now be Mallory Pippo. Will he pit finally? Yes, he will. Don't destroy the car on the entry here. And he is gonna lose a lot of positions with the rapidly changing track conditions here. If you are 2 laps later than the other guys, I can guarantee you did something wrong with your pit call. And look at this, Pietro is already past VP now. Is Pietro the Rainmaster here in China, in Shanghai? It looks like he has some really solid pace on the intermediates, and maybe that's a call that Pietro did here. He might have seen the rain approach, and maybe he put on a different setup. That could be the case. If you see a lot of the race is gonna be in the wet, you might want to change the setup to be a bit more fitting to the rain. So he is looking very good now, closing in, I believe, to David Boyer within no time. And yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Behind them, the biggest difference here in the top 10, Gordy is already 11 seconds behind VP, but maybe the wet conditions are better for him. Regardless though, if he can stick to P8, I think that's gonna be a wonderful result for him. As Pietro spun, oh no, I was praising him just a second ago, and he spun on the same spot he spun before, and Pietro is gonna be just about in front of Gordy now. But can Gordy close in? No, he's still too far away, but that's quite the disaster for him. And this rain has been shaking up this race now, yeah, quite a bit. Pilos, who was looking quite good at in Q2, but couldn't put a good lap in on Q3. He is in P9 now. It's looking unlikely for him to repeat the top 5 finishes he's had. Pietro is pitting now. Oh, he must have damaged there as well. Oh no. Bimmer guy, by the way, getting a penalty, and that's gonna be a problem for him. He is in P9, and some very quick guys behind him. Mallory Pippo now on the intermediates. He might make it to the end here on these tires, and he is right on the back of Bimmer guy. And if Bimmer guy loses P9, then Sean Kino is already looking to overtake him next. He is 3.5 seconds away from Mallory Pippo. If he has some solid pace in the wet, he might be able to cash in some points then. Pietro now on new intermediates. Maybe it's all gonna work out for him after all if he doesn't make any mistakes now. Oh, but he's looking very... Yeah, he's not looking too good right now. Mellow spaced, yeah, he was screwed over by his strategy quite a bit. P13 now for him. He was looking so good from the get-go, but now he's struggling. Can he salvage this race? And already 2 laps? Apparently blunt rules. What happened there? And then Crazy Shadow. We seem to have very little amounts of invalidations this time. You can see only 4 guys have invalidated or gotten penalties, my bad, gotten penalties so far, and we're already halfway through the race. Jacobs is looking devastated. He's P16. He was looking so good in a lot of the races, showing some very good pace, but oh, this is... You gotta start wonder what's going on with him. He is P16, only a few seconds behind. We got Blue Sonic, and Blue Sonic will be trying to salvage this race somehow. Maybe he can close back in onto J Corpse and Crazy Shadow in front of him, but towards the positions further up the grid it's gonna be difficult as as Crazy Shadow makes a spin, and will he get damage? He can stop the car, but he drives into the wall anyway, and he manages to get back on track. Jacobs now on his tail, and he will see him now very shortly, I think. Yeah, but Crazy Shadow back to speed. Oh, but Jacobs wants to get him now. He's closing in rapid. Oh, but braking early. He's not gonna get him this time around. See already difference in pace. Pietro now obviously with another pit stop. He is outside. Oh, and there's a penalty for him, and he's losing the car again. He is utterly out of control in this race. But then we have Sean Kino, who might be getting back into the points. He can already see the cars in front. He's 2 seconds behind Mallory Pippo. Mallory Pippo is right on the tail of Bimmer fighting for dear life, but he does have the penalty, and Mallory Pippo might be getting 2 points here at the least. Not too far up the road we got Pilos and Gordy. These two are battling it out right now, but one big concern I have here for the overtaking is it's very difficult to overtake here in the wet. In the dry, if you get a good run on the guys on the main straight or on the back straight, you can overtake, but in the wet it's very difficult. If somebody makes a mistake, sure, you can always overtake them on basically any track, except maybe for Monaco, but here it's very difficult. If the guy in front does not make a mistake and the pace difference is not too big, it's very, very difficult to overtake in the wet. And we got Pilos now right on the back of Gordy, and I think Gordy overtook Pilos there, right? Pilos was in P7, Gordy was in P8 as far as I remember, but that must have changed. Gordy is past Pilos, and Gordy is looking good for a P7 right now. And VP now on the tail of David Boyer. VP with no pressure now that Pietro is out of it. I don't know what happened. Did the two collide here? We've unfortunately switched onto another situation when that must have happened. And in front, there's no changes so far. Speed Alcoholic seems to have quite solid pace in the rain. Is already back up to 3.5 seconds approximately from Connor, who is fighting for dear life. All Albion is on his back the entire race, 16 laps. He is right on the hunt, but Connor is holding on like a madman, doing a wonderful job right now of defensive driving while keeping up the pace to stay within reach of Speed Alcoholic. And you gotta give props to Connor here, but oh, he's losing the back there. But I think everybody is gonna be struggling with this exit here, as All Albion is also very dodgy here on the input. You can see him struggling there, but he's getting the better exit, getting closer, but it's not gonna be close enough. There's no way for him to close in that much, but now he's on the tail of Connor. Can he stick with him? And that you see here, the problem is you can never get as good of an exit as the guy in front of you. He can go on the throttle when you can't, and that's the big problem trying to overtake here in China when it's raining. JJ now, he seems to be having about I think he and All Albion must have the best race pace here. He closed in on Connor and All Albion with 2 seconds in no time. And these two, I mean, they are battling, but I think All Albion and JJ, they could both go faster than Connor. I'm pretty sure at this point, because Connor, he is stocking up the cars behind him, fighting for life, and JJ closed in within a few laps. And I think Speed Alcoholic might also be in trouble once one of those guys can pass Connor. I think Connor will have a very hard time to stick with All Albion if he manages to get in front of him, because he is on his tail without any problems for the entirety of the race. He seems to have some ridiculous pace here, as well as JJ, and behind them the fights for the positions, it's looking like there's some big margins, a few little groups there. Maybe VP can get a good run this time around. He is very close to David Boyer if he can get a somewhat decent exit, but look at the ERS. David Boyer, smart boy, he is saving a lot of ERS, and VP not saving any. He's trying to go on the overtake on the exit of that corner when he's still in that corner. And oh, what happened there? Connor, he got a penalty, a 3-second penalty for Connor, and that's a disaster for him. He was holding on so well, but he invalidated too many times, and that must have been on the last corner here. Probably, I think on the outside. I mean, sometimes you mess up the turning in point, but yeah, that's one of the spots where you can invalidate a lap very easily, and that's gonna change the picture here. Connor now out of the podium. He has to pull something out of the hat now, or hope for penalties from the guys behind him. But I think All Albion and JJ, they will be very content with their position. Even if Speed Alcoholic wins this race, I think Speed Alcoholic does not have enough points to get close to these guys in the overall standings. So it's looking like another podium for the leaders here. And the big question is, can JJ get some sort of big move here on All Albion? He's been beaten by him last time around. JJ obviously getting damage on lap 1 in Vietnam. That was quite the disaster for his race. But this time around he kept out of trouble. He has some really solid pace, and the big question is, can he make up ground in the Drivers' Championship here? And the guy he's chasing, he's right in front of him literally. Can he make up some sort of time? And All Albion is pitting. Oh, that's an interesting choice. I think I was assuming some guys would pit, but I was not assuming the guys here in the front group to do that. And if the others also have to pit because of the tire wear, then it's gonna be a big undercut for All Albion. Also David Boyer pitting has the same idea like All Albion, and these two guys will massively benefit from that situation. So let's see what happens here. Will Speed Alcoholic, Connor and JJ pit, or will they stay out? The intermediates, to be honest, they don't really get bad once they got some wear on them. They just wear out at some point. So if you can keep it nice and tidy on those tires, I think you can make it. It's only another 10 laps, including this one. That would be 17 laps for most of the guys. I think that is absolutely possible, but a lot of guys seem to not take any risks here. That actually we've had the situation. Oh, and Connor losing the car almost here. Is that the chance for JJ? He is approaching now. Only 6/10 behind now. Connor is saving the ERS, and JJ is going to be very close this time around. He is coming for Connor. Can he make it? He's going on the inside, trying to outbrake him, but it's not close enough this time around. Maybe on the exit. Connor is having trouble here big time, and it looks as if both of them go into the pit now. Maybe JJ with a ridiculous move into the pit. It wouldn't be the first time we'd see that one. And the only guy staying out in the top group is Speed Alcoholic on a completely different strategy. Let's see if he can make him work. We did have rain in the tier 2 qualifying as mentioned, and the tire wear on the intermediates is very low. I think you can go 16 laps or so with no problems whatsoever. So I'm very curious on why the guys here pitted. I think that might be a bad call. The difference in the lap times, it's really not that big, I think. And obviously some guys profit from that. Gordy now with the stops from VP and David Boyer. He is in P5 now, about 3.8, 3.7 seconds in front of David Boyer, as we have some more guys pitting. Marjorie Pippo as well as Sean Kino. And this is gonna be very interesting towards the end. I think there's gonna be some serious lap time difference towards the end, but can you make up an entire pit stop? That is the big question. You're gonna have to outdrive your opponents big time. And as you can see, it's quite difficult to overtake even when you have the fresher tires. It's too wet to overtake here. If you don't get a ridiculous exit, or your opponent doesn't mess up the exit in a big way, I think there's no chance to overtake here. Connor now 1.3 seconds away, and look at what I've mentioned, the undercut. All Albion with the biggest brains here in the second group. Maybe that pit stop was just a dummy to get the other guys to pit. Now he's into P2. I didn't even catch that. And now, oh, I think props to All Albion. He played that very smart. Now Speed Alcoholic also pitted. He is still 3 seconds ahead of All Albion, and this is gonna be interesting. Can All Albion make up time? He's obviously on the older tires compared to Speed Alcoholic, but he did manage to do what he wanted to do. He got P2 out of that. He jumped Connor through the undercut. Very nicely done, and JJ is the big loser here because now he's gonna be stuck behind Connor, and we've seen Connor is defending for life in this race. Can JJ make up any sort of time here? Can he come back at All Albion? Because All Albion, by this rate, he's gonna be driving away from these guys. I think he has more pace than Connor from what we've seen so far. So it will be very interesting to see what happens in the last 7.5 laps of this GP. Let's quickly go through the other positions. David Boyer, he is very constant. 10 seconds is his difference to JJ, but he has some solid pace. He is keeping VP behind, and David Boyer might get another top 5 finish here. He also did the undercut, and he is in front of VP, making sure VP has no chance to get him here. And you gotta start thinking, ooh, maybe VP will not be able to overtake him, just like all else past Connor. And for now, one of the big winners is Bimmer Guy. He is in P7 and he is trying to make these tires last only 6 more laps when he crosses the finish line, and I think he can do it. He has 8.5 seconds on Pilos. Pilos is, or 8 seconds now. He is very far away. He has to make up a lot of time to even get close to overtaking, and I think Bimmer Guy here with the smartest decision overall. I think it's gonna be no problem to get through here on these tires. Pietro also, he pitted a bit later than everybody else to get his intermediates, except for Malj, obviously. Again, after he went on the intermediates and got damage. So Pietro is looking to get maybe some points now after this race. And Sean Kino is just behind Pietro. We're gonna have to take a look at the penalties. And Bimmer Guy 6 seconds. Oh, Pilos is definitely gonna catch him by this rate. So Pilos might be up for an easy P7 now. He is quite a way off from Gordy now. Gordy losing time. Yeah, quite a lot of time. 2.7 seconds already down to Pilos. Those two were very close together all the race, but now Pilos seems to have found some extra pace, and Pilos might be coming back for a P7 finish here. Maybe even Gordy with a P8 if it stays like this. 6 seconds for Bimmer Guy is quite a bit, but Bimmer Guy, he will be happy with any points, I think, and if he can hold on here and go into P9, I think he's gonna be very happy with that. Pietro, however, we know he has some very solid pace, and Sean Kino also one of the faster guys on raw pace. Obviously the racing overall, we've seen some struggles, especially from Sean Kino. Pietro obviously was just a bit unlucky that he forgot to put a setup on the restart in Brazil, but other than that he's shown some proper pace. But Sean Kino is right in his rear-view mirror, and if you're in that situation, it can make you nervous, and especially with seeing how Pietro is struggling in the rain, I think Sean is going to have a good chance here, getting very close in the Sector 2 section here. And behind them, look at this, Mallory Pippo having quite a clean race this time around. Not a lot of spots to invalidate the lap. And Pietro has a problem. What happened to Pietro? He just lost the car again, and Pietro is out of the points, probably for good now. Sean Kino on the inside, defending against Mallory Pippo now. Mallory Pippo trying to claim the inside now, is gonna push his car through, and I think that's an amazing move from Mallory Pippo. Can he hold on the inside? He is past Sean Kino for now, losing the car here, and what happened? Sean Kino is back out again. And was that his mistake, or was that Mallory Pippo's mistake? Every time Sean gets close to a car, something happens and he spins out. Oh, at some point you gotta start wonder what is going on here. And he's gonna have to pit for sure, and Pietro now is maybe with a chance to get back into the points, but no, he has damage as well. Pietro has to pit as well, and that's his race definitely over now. I don't think any chance here to... Oh, and what has happened here? He just got overtaken by Sean Kino on the entry of the pit lane. And Pietro, oh, that's a rage quit. Yeah, and who can... I mean, Yeah, his race was just over. I'm okay with that on Pietro's side, to be honest. He was showing some proper pace, and then he has such a wonky race. I'm not even mad to see that. Obviously, it's unfortunate to see that, but he's sticking to the rules. He's not just quitting the menu. He is um, saving that for the pit. He's going to the pit and retiring the car there. So that's very good to see. And Pilos, he got a 3 seconds penalty right now just to switch it back again, and he is putting Bimmer guy under a lot of pressure already. With the penalty situation, it should be no problem for him, but no matter how close you get, it's always tricky, except your opponent makes a mistake, and maybe now getting some traction here, but Bimmer guy can hold on, but now this looks more promising, but Bimmer guy seems to have a lot more ERS, or does he? He has some ERS, and we do know Pilos does not save ERS whatsoever. I don't even know how he's using all of it in the rain. He has to at some point realize he cannot overtake the guy in front of him if he spends his ERS so liberally. Quick look back to the front before we go into the last few laps. JJ is now right on the back of Connor, and as expected, All Albion has some pace advantage to Connor. He is a bit more than 2 seconds away, and Speed Alcoholic got the biggest pace advantage here. He is making up a lot of time now. He was 3 seconds away from All Albion after the pit stop, but now All Albion is 6.8 seconds off of his time, so amazing performance here for Speed Alcoholic so far. It's all about keeping it clean for the last few races, and for now it's looking very promising for him. Let's have a quick look at the rest of the pack. Obviously, Sean Kino now getting out of the pits, and Mellow Space now on P11 after such a scruffy race. Him might be looking to get back into the points. Maybe he is 23 seconds away from Malgery Pippo. That's an entire pit stop, or about a pit stop behind him. And if nothing drastic happens, I think he's not gonna get into the points, but you have to hope for the best. He is saving all the ERS. Go use it, my friend. Nice. Finally using his, he's at 100%, but I think he's just very scared to lose the car here and playing it safe now. And I think he has some decent pace this time around as well. We just didn't get to see it in the way we were hoping for. And behind Sean Kino then, the last survivors, Blunt Rules, Crazy Shadow, and J-Corps. Look at this, he is still behind Crazy Shadow. J-Corps no pace whatsoever. He was very quick in the tier 2 race. He had some proper pace there, but it was a dry race, and he is not prepared at all for a wet race. I think he's running such a low downforce that it's hard to navigate the car at all. He seems to not have any sort of pace here, and yeah, you can see by the way he's applying the throttle and gear shifting, that is not optimal and not adapted to the wet at all. And the last survivor, he did do another pit stop as Blue Sonic. Oh, and he lets All Albion pass. There's gonna be another car coming in now. Connor and JJ, there we go, making a lot of space. I think it probably would have been better to let him pass here instead of going onto the grass, but cheers anyway for having the awareness to see the fast guys coming in, and you definitely don't want to disturb them when they're battling it out for the top spots here. And you can see Speed Alcoholic is the penultimate lap for him, and he is another second off from All Albion, who has more pace than Connor still. And the only question here is probably, will JJ get Connor on the track, or is he happy to just bring it home? Because All Albion, he is gone for good. These 3 seconds JJ is behind All Albion. He will not make up those 3 seconds within the last 2 laps, so I think he's just gonna bring it home. Connor with a very unlucky P4, probably. Don't wanna curse anyone here on the penultimate lap, but there's not been any changes so far, and these guys have been driving very safe, so I'm expecting nothing big to happen here. Gordy now is right behind Bimmer guy. Pilos got rid of him, and Gordy is the next in line, and Bimmer guy makes a big mistake, and Gordy oh yeah, he just gets straight on the inside there. Bimmer guy is suffering from tire life now massively, and oh, but Gordy must have made a mistake, as Bimmer guy just shoots past him straight after. And Gordy, no penalties, but this fighting brings back Mallory Pippo. He is straight behind him now, and Mallory Pippo, he will take the P9 spot from Bimmer guy by this rate. Bimmer guy is the one with the most seconds on the penalties, and it looks like Gordy can bounce back onto a P8 now, getting past Bimmer guy. Mallory Pippo will be stuck behind him for the last lap. I think that's what's going to happen. And now onto the final back straight here for Speed Alcoholic. It's the last lap of the race already. He drew a fantastic... He just made it look easy. He drove a fantastic race. He got away from All Albion massively. He's not even playing it safe. He's still making up a second per lap at this rate. Only one more corner to go for Speed Alcoholic. Now he should take it nicely and safely, and that's a checkered flag for him. P1 for Speed Alcoholic again. It's the double for him. And now the second car onto the start-finish straight. It's going to be All Albion on track. Connor, but then JJ will take it on the penalties. David Boyer is too far away to contest Connor even with the penalties, but a very clean and nice race from David Boyer, bouncing back to P5. Disappointed, to be honest, by VP. I thought he's gonna have more pace, but it's only gonna be a P6 for him. Very unfortunate for him. And then most likely it's gonna be Pilos getting back after quite a messy race. He had to pit lap 1 and he managed to get back onto P7. Big props to him. I think that's a great comeback drive. And another I think 6 points for Pilos, so very nicely done. He is racking up the points now on a consistent level. That's really nice to see. Gordy is also bouncing back. He is on P8. I think he's gonna be quite happy with that, making the overtake then on Bimmer guy and making up for lost time. I think he's gonna be very happy with that result. Also Mallory Pippo, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's the first points finish now for Mallory Pippo. I don't quite remember where he went in Vietnam, but he's P9 in front of Bimmer guy, who manages to secure the last point. And at this rate, you gotta wonder, is Speed Alcoholic a contender for the championship if he keeps winning races like this and playing it so cool even in the wet? He had tremendous pace in the dry quali. He went P1 pole position. He drove away from everybody, and then he had the best pace out of everyone in the field in the wet. Even All Albion and JJ, who were looking quite solid, even when All Albion got past Connor through that undercut, was which was quite genius in my opinion, since everybody else pitted right after. I think we clearly saw he didn't have the pace to catch up to Speed Alcoholic, and his tires were not that old in comparison. So big props here to Speed Alcoholic. Probably a big contender for driver of the day because the race was just absolutely fluid and there's no mistakes. Just a very clear-cut plan, executed perfectly. And also, I think big props to Pilos for that comeback drive. He was in such a weird position, pitting lap 1, getting back to P7. I think that's also really well done. And of course, JJ with a great start, getting right back at it, but then ultimately missing out here. All Albion this time around being smarter once again. And this championship slowly but steadily is yeah, moving away from JJ. He's gonna have to figure out something in the coming races, in the upcoming races. Japan is obviously gonna be completely different. Next time around, we're gonna be in Japan, and that track is, yeah, quite a difference to China. China is a very straightforward track when it comes to the driving. Not many quick changes of direction, very straightforward. Only a few difficult sections. Japan with the S's in Sector 1 gonna be quite different, so very interested to see um, what kind of fights we're gonna have there. But yeah, that's it for this time around. Uh, Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I surely enjoyed the race. It was quite interesting with the change of conditions, and I'm very much so looking forward for next week's race in Japan. So until then, bye, guys.